People are so cold in here. You don't understand how things are done here. People are so superficial. Nobody gets you. The weather's terrible. You're alone. You don't speak the language. You don't have any friends.
That's some bull.
Hey there, you showed up! I'm so happy! I'm so glad that you're here. So you want to learn everything there is to know about adjustment so that you're happy in your stays abroad, you don't have to worry about all of those adaptation phases, and that you can twist and tweak some knots and knots so that when you are abroad, you can have the best experience you can have. You can communicate well, you can gather new views of the world, and you can learn a lot. Well, you're right to be here because in this video, we are starting a series of videos that's gonna teach you everything I know about adjustment so that you cannot have the kind of toxic thoughts that the guy in the beginning of the video was having. But before we dive right into it, I think I need to introduce myself to you, right? Okay, my name is Hanchuk, and on this channel, it is my goal to make you have a successful, striving international career. I want to help you out with that, and I'll do everything in my power to help you achieve your goals. How am I going to do that? Well, I bring various perspectives into that, of course. So the perspective of somebody who's accompanied various expatriates in Brazil that were there for work, as I worked with expatriation for 2 years, or impatriation in the case of Brazil. Also the perspective of this weird guy that at the age of 14 sneaked out into a bar just to talk with all of the international students that were there. The perspective of somebody who immigrated himself and lived everything on his own skin, and the perspective of a recruiter for a big international OEM who gets applications from all over the world and analyzes candidates to work at the company. So, let's dive right into adjustment. But before we do that, if you're interested in somebody who is going to be there for you and who is going to give you weekly reminders of move your butt and work on your career, work on yourself, become a better global citizen, subscribe to this channel and leave that notification bell activated. That's gonna help me help you out. Also, don't forget to leave a like because adjustment is essential for your stays abroad to be successful. You probably want to get all of those videos, right? So let's go into the topic. Adjustment. What is it to begin with? Well, one definition is that it is the degree of psychological comfort you have whilst experiencing various situations when you're abroad. So it may be that you're going to the bakery and you experience new things. Maybe people order bread differently, or people react differently when you order some bread. Or you're at a bar and you can't really start a conversation with anyone and you can't understand why. You're at work and the way you communicate sounds either aggressive or nobody ever listens to you. It's so weird. And at the end, it all comes down to being able to socialize, communicate, and feel well in the new environment that you're in. We're social beings. We want to have friends. We want to adapt and adjust. It is our natural thing. But not always can we do that. And that is actually the #1 reason why expatriation fails. So expatriation generally is when a company sends out an employee from the home country to a host country in order to complete some project or to work there generally. Usually those are technically very well-equipped professionals who need to bring in new technology or that have some kind of special skill or knowledge that is to be applied in the host country. Nevertheless, technical skills are not the reason why those assignments fail. Adjustment is the top 1 reason. And it is quite interesting to understand that because we always think about those technical skills, don't we? Well, I know I do. And we always think about what are the programming languages I have to know, what are the degrees I need to get, and what kind of motivation letters, cover letters, and so on do I need to have in order to get the job, right? All hard facts. But have you ever wondered what are all of the psychological traits you have to take care of when moving to a new country? Or ever wondered what is the best way to communicate and how can you even train it? And what? So many aspects. Ever thought about that? Or are you really mainly thinking about, okay, what are the visa requirements, what are the degrees, and so on? Both things are extremely important, but if you don't get adjustment right, you're gonna feel like in the new country. And if you do that, you'll probably wanna come back, right? So let's start talking about how the word adjustment is a little bit misleading. It sounds like you have to solely adapt yourself in order to be better integrated in this new environment. And that solely is something that you do passively. So you leave all of your things behind in order for you to adapt to this new country, in order for you to have all of the traits that people in the new country have so that you can communicate correctly, right? Wrong. It's not about that. We have active and reactive adjustment. It is at the end all about the environment. Active adjustment is when you change the environment for you to better integrate, and reactive adjustment is when the environment changes you, or you let yourself be slightly changed through the environment. Usually, in 90% of the cases, and this isn't scientifically, I'm just making that up, you do both things, right? So when we understand that we have active and reactive adjustment, we also need to understand all of the factors that are related to adjustment itself. And there are so many because of the reason I just told to you that this is the #1 reason why expatriation fails. Companies also invested in research, and many researchers interested themselves in the topic as well. One of the main utilized frameworks for adjustment is the one from Mendenhall and Oddou, in which they've defined that you have anticipatory adjustment that is done before you go for your international assignment, and in-country adjustment when you go for the international assignment. And each one of those categories has many under factors there within it. We can have these factors being actively or reactively reacting with our environment and ourselves, and we also have aspects that actively and reactively, or directly and indirectly, I'm getting confused with all of the terms, affect various types of adjustment. Because adjustment isn't really a thing of one pool. So we have adjustment for work, adjustment with our friends, adjustment at school and college, and so on. And you've probably already experienced this yourself, even if you haven't moved abroad yet. So you've probably noticed some group of people or some environment in which you felt really well. Maybe at home or at school where you have so many friends, or at a bar where you have this kind of relaxed atmosphere, and another environment where you feel like a fish out of water, where you don't really feel like you belong to the group and you want to get out of there. You're not feeling so well. Well, this is all about these different kinds of environments and what are the things you can do to influence this. So in this series of videos, we're going to talk about first anticipatory adjustment and how you can prepare yourself beforehand in order to be better in all of those factors. And also we're going to talk about all of the in-country adjustment factors and what are the things that you can influence yourself in the country whilst you're there so that you have a better experience, and what are the things that you cannot really influence but understanding them really helps you out. You're going to understand all of the phases of adapting to a new country, and you're going to understand at all how you can make the best out of everything. The reason why I'm doing this series of videos is because when we look into content of people adapting to their stays abroad on the web, we don't really get a lot of insight into all of the different factors that influence this. We don't have a lot of science. So what I'm going to do in this series is I'm going to bring the scientific factors and everything you can do with some real life examples. I have a lot of things to tell you. Also for my thesis, done a lot of research. It has over 200 pages of interviews I've done with people about their adjustment. So beware. You're gonna have a lot of meaningful information in order to make you thrive in your stays abroad. So leave me a comment down below telling me where you are right now. Are you abroad? Are you watching this so that you can enhance your stay abroad? Or are you just curious? And tell me what you think about this series. I'm really excited to know what you guys think. Leave me a like, subscribe to this video, and I'll see you around.